Hi guys, my name is McKay Nare. I'm going to start off by showing you my 4 note cards. Have any of you ever thought about if college athletes deserve to be paid? And if so, athletes from what division deserve it and maybe how much money? This is a topic that is very popular in discussion in today's society and has two sides of the argument. In America, Division I athletes playing football or basketball do deserve to get paid at least minimum wage. According to Robert and Amy McCormick, authors of The Myth of the Student Athlete, The College Athlete as Employee, they say that football and basketball are the two major revenue generating sports in college. One main reason I believe these Division I athletes should get paid is because of the revenue they generate for their school. Scott Proctor, author of The Face-Off, Should Division I College Athletes Be Paid?, says that according to Business Insider, the average Division I basketball player makes $170,098 for their school a year, and each of 351 Division I basketball programs take in over $4.5 million a year. Yes, these athletes do receive full scholarships many of the time, but the numbers of these scholarships are minute compared to the numbers of the money that the athletes are generating for their school. Horace Mitchell and Mark Edelman, authors of Should College Student Athletes Be Paid?, say that the college sports industry generates $11 billion annually. They also say that 50 universities reported that they make at least $50 million in revenue off of sports, while 5 reported that they make at least $100 million a year off of sports. One other reason I believe that Division I athletes deserve to be paid is because coaches get paid millions of dollars to be coaching, so I think it would only be fair that these athletes get paid. Stephen Schaefer, author of Unnecessary Roughness, Why the NCAA's Heavy-Handed Amateurism Violates the Sherman Antitrust Act, says that in 2014, 72 football coaches and 39 basketball coaches made over $1 million each. That is Division I coaches. And the highest paid state employee in 39 states is either a Division I basketball or Division I football coach. According to Scott Proctor, he says that USA Today found that Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the University of Michigan football team, made $9 million in 2016. The National Collegiate Athletic Association, also called the NCAA, argues that their athletes are amateurs, while the NCAA is really not an amateur league. It's more of a commercial enterprise because it generates so much money. For example, college football hosts bowl games. There's 4 bowl games: the Rose Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the Nokia Sugar Bowl, and the FedEx Orange Bowl. At the end of the year, each of these bowl games are played, and according to Robert and Amy McCormick, just out of those 4 games, over $93 million was generated to those schools playing, and just in the Rose Bowl alone, $29 million was generated to the 2 participating schools. According to Stephen Shaver, the NCAA sells television licensing rights for a March Madness tournament every year, which is the most famous basketball tournament in college, held every March, and it decides a champion every year. Out of the $530 million in unrestricted assets, much of that money comes from these television licensing rights. So this shows that football and basketball play a major role in generating money for the schools, and really shows that it's not an amateur league. It's closer to a professional league. Many people argue that college athletes could be considered employees. according to Robert and Amy McCormick, they do argue that Division I athletes are employees under the common law. They say that these athletes perform services for the benefit under an agreement with the colleges, and they're economically dependent on the universities, as well as they're subject virtually every day of the year to control of the athletic departments and the coaches. They did a study with 4 current and former Division I football and basketball players who received full scholarships. They found that in an average week of a home game in college football, players devote 53 hours to that sport just in that week. They also found that out of the year, 240 days, there are demands placed on college football athletes, and that's in the regular season alone. If it goes into the postseason, they found that 262 days of the year demands are placed on these athletes, which is more than the 250-day average for the average American working man or woman. For basketball, they talked about how players are in basketball from October to March. They go through practices or drills for 4 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. So a lot of their time is definitely devoted to playing. They also said how they would have to miss Thanksgiving dinner with their family, and they would spend it at the coach's house. The only 2 guaranteed holidays they get are Christmas and New Year's. So there are a lot of strict guidelines which are similar to that of employees, and they have to miss family holidays because they're playing, or some would say working, which also compares them to an employee, which would make them arguably able to be paid. Therefore, I do think Division I athletes deserve to be paid. Not all athletes can be paid because in other divisions they don't generate as much money. Football and basketball are the 2 primary revenue generating sports in college. If the coaches get paid, I think athletes should, and I believe that the NCAA is not an amateur league, and many athletes do have employee characteristics, which is why they should be paid. Thank you for listening to my argument, and I look forward to hearing all of your speeches. Thank you.